Go ahead.
All right. It is March 5th at 9:02. We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, I hope everybody got the opportunity to read the large packet of minutes from February 26th. I think we're going for a record for one of the longest county board meetings there. If there's any modifications or changes to those minutes, otherwise I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I think on page 12 of 15, 1, 2, 3, fourth paragraph down. Am I rewriting here? You got the same one? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I think if I didn't say it, I meant to say can't support the RIP without the DNR support or some other funding source. So just put without instead of with.
Sure.
That was it.
All right.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Did anyone else have anything else?
Any other?
Otherwise?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of February 26th with the one revision.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Potter with the modification of without, and a second by Commissioner Burrell. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Looking at today's agenda, does anybody have anything to add to today's agenda? Nobody's
Seeing
moving?
none, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Commissioner Potter, a second by Commissioner Dahlheiden for today's agenda. Any further discussion?
Just that I left my agenda in the bag.
Charlie's going blind.
So you'll have to guide me along.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Today's agenda is approved. Today's consent agenda. Does anybody want to remove anything from the consent agenda for further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to remove item E, the recorder, just for her to explain to the public why we're doing that.
Okay. And with that, you making a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
With the one item pulled.
All right.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to approve today's consent agenda with the removal of item E. Motion made by Commissioner Dahlheiden, second by Commissioner Potter. Any other further discussion? We're removing item E for further discussion. Commissioner Burrell? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, item E. Recorder.
I told you I'd give you 2 minutes warning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I have added to the agenda today a approval of Schedule B of it's a service amendment to our master license agreement with Triman, which is our land records management system vendor, and we have a scanning project with the estimated amount of $480,042. And of that project, we have 1,100 books. Of these books, it's the Wright County historical records for real estate back from the original patent from the president from 1855 forward. These books are currently in our basement in a non-climate controlled environment. They have not been digitized. They need to be digitized, so we have an additional backup in case there's a fire. Some of them already have water damage, and so this project is really important. The funding for this was approved through the capital improvement plan for the Wright County Recorders Technology Fund. Since I have taken over Vital Statistics, those will be added. Vital Statistics, there's only about 100 books. We have a couple file cabinets of records, but the majority of this is really the real estate records, which are a vital record as well, even though they're a public record. It's my responsibility as county recorder to not only have a permanent repository of these records, but preservation of these records. So it's really important that we get these digitized. The funding through the Recorder's Technology Fund is by statute. There's a portion of every document that's recorded in the county goes to this fund. The funds are there and available and ready for this project to begin. We have vendors that are scheduled to come if this is approved. They will be here 24/7 for approximately 2 to 3 weeks. The reason for that is so that the records will not be removed from the premises. We don't have to worry about them getting damaged in that process. And we do have an additional contract with the Sheriff's Office to be here on off hours to supervise or be available with the vendor because they will be on site.
So they're going to be doing it outside of the 9 to 5?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yep, they will have crews of anywhere from 2 to 3 men for 7-hour shifts, 24/7.
Oh,
Wow.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. And the other advantage to this is a lot of this will make it searchable now too by
Yes.
computer. So
Yes.
it'll be a lot easier for people to find information.
Yes, currently when the public comes in, they have to go through our old tracked indexes and they have to go and pull microfiche and look on the microfiche readers. Once all of this is digitized, we'll be able to import all of that data and images into our land records management system.
That's a huge project.
Yes.
So thank you. That's why I just, because it's so much,
Yes.
I wanted people to understand why we're doing it and the
Right.
benefit it'll actually
Right.
be. Permanent records, easier to search.
Yes.
stuff.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Potter.
Mr. Chair, Tanya, it says stage 1. How many stages are there in this thing?
Well, the initial stage is about, it could take approximately a year. They come in, they do everything. They go through the images, they enhance images, they do some cropping. We have, some of our images are kind of like, they're black with white type. And due to some of the water damage, they're gray. So there will be an enhancement process as well. The next stage, which will be presented at the 2020 Capital Improvement Plan, will be some of the indexing we will have them do. Our staff will do the final verification, but we will have them do some imaging of the records. My staff has been currently indexing, we're back to early 70s, but they only do that when they're not doing their regular business. So the goal is to ultimately get it all in there. This is going to take a while, but we want them to do some of the initial indexing, but that'll be presented at a later time.
So 2
This is-
stages,
this-
3 stages?
This part of the project is strictly, let's get everything imaged, and, that'll be a huge weight off our shoulders knowing that we have it all imaged. And then going forward from there, there'll be another stage where some of the records we're going to have indexed.
Okay, just so the public knows that this is just the beginning of what to do,
Yes.
and there's another
Yes.
side to it. Because when I see stage 1, okay, where's stage 2, stage 3, where does it end? But you gotta gather the information first before you can start collating it and indexing it and all that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
Any other
With that-
questions?
No, with that, I'll make a motion. to
All right,
approve it.
Tanya.
thank you.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Dahlheim.
I'll second.
We have a second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The approved of Schedule B service amendment to the master license agreement is approved. I think we're 9:11, but close enough to 9:02 for Auditor Treasurer Bob Hewla.
Hey, good morning, Board. The first item on the agenda is, I hope to have more of these. We have an opportunity to claim one of our tax forfeited parcels. We would claim this parcel on benefit of the ditch systems. So, Board, in your packet, you have a resolution that we would want you to pass so that we can send it to the state saying the county would like to acquire parcel number 213-024-00010 for $1. This is on our County Dish 33. Matt's here if you have any more particular questions, but we do want to acquire this for potential land credits.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to, for tax forfeit.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Dahlheim, a second by Commissioner Burrell. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Chair?
No, it's a resolution.
Oh, it's a resolution, I'm sorry. Commissioner Dahlheim?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you,
Mr.
Commissioner
Chair.
Potter.
Commissioners, the second item on the agenda is to approve a large group assembly application. Lestadian Lutheran Church is going to have an event up by Monticello July 4th through the 7th. Brian's worked closely with them, so if you have more questions about it, they do have the proper application here. They paid the proper fee of $500. So, do you have any questions for Brian?
Mr. Chair, I'll move to, unless you had something you wanted to say, Brian, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I was just going to indicate that the Lestadian Church has been great to work with. They contacted us first last summer, and they had this similar gathering at the county fairgrounds,
Right.
I believe in 2017. This one is planned for property that they own up in Monticello Township along County State Aid Highway 39. And so, it's quite a large gathering. You should have the application and a memo from me, which is a form of a staff report. There's still some loose ends out there in terms of traffic signage and things like that, but they will continue to work with the sheriff's office and the highway department on those issues. So unless you have questions, we're recommending approval of the permit.
And, Mr. Chair, I just make a comment that, of what I understand at the fairgrounds, they left it cleaner than when they came, so they're a real good group. So I'll make a motion to approve the application of the Lestadian Lutheran Church for a large group assembly, July 4th through 7th.
Go ahead, sorry.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Burrell, a second by Commissioner Dahlheim. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Just for the public to know, this is where the former Silver Springs Golf Course was. So anybody who thinks there's not enough parking, there's plenty enough parking there.
That was a question I was going to ask, exactly where it was. So, yeah, and the traffic shouldn't be quite so bad off at 39
Yeah, when you get
there.
that far out, you're fine.
So that's good.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Chair, the
application.
application requires your signature and mine, so Chris will have the application whenever you're ready.
Sounds great. Thank you. Captain Todd Hoffman, scheduling a 911 committee meeting.
Morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Looking to set a date for the 911 committee meeting. There's several topics on that agenda that I have submitted, including a tower that's being decommissioned that is integral to our alarms for our fire departments, paging for our fire departments.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll move a schedule. I don't know when the 911 committee wants to get together.
Did you
They
have
dates?
some,
It's what, I don't have your schedule, so whenever,
and Commissioner
schedules
Houston isn't here right now, so you don't have any dates at all that,
well, I would prefer sooner than later. I know she's going to be on leave for some time, so I don't know if someone can sit in her place, stand in her place.
Yeah.
We had an alternate on that too, didn't we, or no?
Yeah.
I don't have the
can
committee
pull up the
list in front of
listing
me.
here quick. Potter was the alternate.
There you go.
Ben Burrell were the regulars.
okay. So when did you want to set it, Mike? Sooner rather than later, I hear.
I don't know, the week of the 18th through the 22nd, or the 25th through the 29th?
Can you do it on a Monday?
I prefer not on Monday. How about,
Monday?
how
Okay.
about Thursday?
Yeah, Wednesday or Thursday should be fine.
You want to say Thursday,
Thursday would be fine in the morning.
11 o'clock, or,
Are we saying Thursday, the 21st?
yeah,
That'll work just fine.
11, Mike?
11 will be fine.
Okay.
Is that a motion then, Commissioner Burrell?
Yes, I'll make a motion to set the 911 committee meeting for Thursday, the 21st of March at 11 a.m.
I'll second that.
Okay.
We have a motion by Commissioner Burrell, a second by Commissioner Dahlheim for the Thursday, March 21st. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
In the event Christine, I'm the alternate for it, but when Christine comes back, she'll be doing it. But if
Yeah.
she's not back at that time, I'll sit in that. So,
Perfect.
In the meantime, a little bit of background on the 911. I'll probably come on and talk with you a little bit about it, what we're doing, just so I'm a little up to speed on it. Thank you.
All right. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 911 committee meeting is scheduled. Steve, you're already on it. He's trying to get us back on schedule.
Back on schedule.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. I'm here to ask for your approval for an out-of-state travel to send the county GIS coordinator, Alec Halverson, to the annual 2019 ESRI User Conference. It's held in San Diego, California, July 8th through the 12th. This is a budgeted item. This is the first year that the county will be sending him to this. We know this is a large conference user group with a lot of good sessions and information coming, and just the evolution of where the GIS software is at and what the future holds for us here. I think we can really glean some good knowledge from that environment. So with that, I'd ask for your approval to authorize out-of-state travel.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the out-of-state travel request for Alex Halverson.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Potter, a second by Commissioner Dowliden. Any other further discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Now, Alex better get himself some rest, because according to the paragraph 2, for 5 days, this conference will provide over 450 hours of training.
I hope he's up 24/7. Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of useful information that I'm sure of.
See, now, if this would have been in the middle of the winter to go to San Diego, California, then I'd have some problems. But anybody willing to go to San Diego in July, you know that they're going to be working hard.
Exactly. Nothing to do but get in the air conditioning,
Yeah.
right, I think.
Well, to get a breeze off the ocean, they'll be fine.
Actually, July is
I've never
pretty
been
nice
there.
out there.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be very,
The hot times are when you get October-ish, kind of when you get to Santa Ana.
Oh, really? I've never been there, so I don't know.
Okay. I used to live
It's not
there.
bad in July, you get a nice breeze, so.
thank you.
Well, thank you.
I live
Oh, sorry, we have to, all right. Any other further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, Steve.
Now you're good to go. Thank you. Mr. Virgil Hawkins. Once again, he's asking for another resolution of some capacity.
Couple today.
Better than restitution.
Chairman Vetch and Board of Commissioners, today I have two items for you to consider. The first one is to approve a resolution of final acceptance for the intersection conflict warning system project, contract 1710, and authorize final payment to Design Electric in the amount of $18,628.20.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion to approve the resolution.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Potter, a second by Commissioner Dowliden. I will say that I like to see that that's on there for 117 and 37. That's an intersection that is quite a sometimes scary intersection. So, any other discussion? All right, a resolution. Commissioner Potter?
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you. The second item to consider today is approve resolution of final acceptance for our 2018 street lighting program, highway intersections 139 and 17 in Delano, and then 75 in Grover. And that's authorizing final payment to Design Electric in the amount of $3,081.74.
Yep. I'll second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dowliden, second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion?
Virgil, 17 and 139, where, okay, 17 goes south of town?
17 kind of goes north-south, and County Road 139 is County Line Road.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's right, that intersection near the, there's a shooting range or something there.
Okay, got it. No, I know where it is now. Okay.
All right. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, Commissioner Dowliden?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oops, aye.
Somebody's in a hurry.
Virgil, can you hang on?
I was there.
Too much caffeine
Too much
today, huh?
caffeine, exactly. All right, resolution's passed.
Okay, Mr. Chair, as long as we have both of these guys here, Mark, can you come up too?
Uh-oh, both these
I
guys.
just had something that came up at the fair. I just had something came up at the Fair Board last night, so I thought, I mean, I'd bring it up, but, you did already, but Virgil, I don't think did.
I didn't hear about it.
But in the past, some of the county departments have, when they've gotten rid of some of their older equipment, have donated it to the fair board, to the fair. They're kind of in need like of a tractor now for like a utility type work, and I don't know if you have anything, Virgil. And also, you know, maybe even a skid loader or something like that. But I'm just, you know, it would need board approval maybe, I don't know. But I don't know if you have anything. Mark said he doesn't have much for tractors right now, or he wears them out so bad. But.
I have 2 tractors in my inventory, but neither one are up for replacement.
Okay.
And I don't see when they'll be up for I don't replace my tractors every 10 years, like pickups and lawnmowers. And our skid steers, we developed a lease agreement with farm rights, so those get traded off every 2 years.
Okay.
Not traded off, lease returned every 2 years.
And then if they had like a Ranger.
But Polaris
like
Rangers, we do
Polaris
trade
Ranger,
those off,
something
and
like
what I
that.
told Scott Peterson,
Yeah.
I believe he's on
Yep.
the fair board,
Yep.
is that what we'd do is we'd get a value of that, and then it'd be up to the county board and the fair board. If we get a $4,000 value on that Ranger for a trade-in for a new Ranger,
Yeah.
would the fair board give us that money, or would you guys just budget
Well-
an extra $4,000? So that's a philosophy. that
Right,
we
that's
have to
something, but I think a lot of times the value that you get on some of them is so little, and they would get a lot more value out of it, so.
use. Right. So that's a philosophy that you guys would have to decide, and I don't know what kind of.
I'll check
equipment
with
you
Brian Jans to see what the status, if we have something like that, I'm not
Yeah.
sure of.
Because, like I said, they had a tractor, but it's really getting old and a lot of repairs and stuff, so. But any kind of equipment like that you think they might be able to use, like I said, it would, you know, I'm sure the board would seriously look at it anyway, so. Thank you. Then that saves one of my items for consideration. Well, Mark, you're up next.
Well, yep, Mr. Mattice.
I saved you a trip, see?
Yes.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board.
Thank you, Virgil.
I'm here today to ask you to authorize awarding the bid and allowing me to develop a contract for project 780-332-619, which is the full depth reclamation and paving and truncated dome installation on the trails at Montesippi County Park. Bids were received Wednesday, February 20th. I submitted with the agenda item a summary of the bids for your review. The low bid coming in with alternates was from Mid-Minnesota Hot Mix at 205-530-20, which is $30,500 over our budget, or what we thought would be. We did this bid with a base bid of just paving the trails and the reclamation, and then we put the alternate in there of the concrete work and the truncated domes. Time I sent the bid out, I thought, well, you know, if it comes in high, we could do that ourselves, but my guy that does most of my concrete work has rotator cuff surgery scheduled in March, and he'll be out for 3 months. So I am losing staff quickly this summer.
I know somebody that if you hired on the Parks Board does cement work too, so.
So the project is a state grant. We do have a state grant of 87.5 in there. Recommending allowing me to move forward with this recommendation and working through my CIP and my operating budget in 2019 to try to alleviate that overage.
You'll come up with it somehow.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
how long of a trailer is this?
It's over 2 miles.
I'll make a,
The one good thing is, before I did this, a lot of times I do our paving stuff on an alternate on an overlay bid with the highway department. This year we did it ourselves because Montesippi Park, it's different. You're going through woods, it's a lot of backing, you can't line up trucks and pave like we did on 12 or Clearwater Pleasant last year, you get a quicker job done. So you will see that there is a bid from Knife River. I have talked to Knife River and said, would I have had that same bid on the overlay bid? And they said yes. So I think we did the right thing as far as saving money, getting
did
a
the
couple
Parks
smaller
Commission-
people.
Did the Parks Commission get to look at or hear about this and know that, I mean, are they still interested in going forward with this aspect, considering they're gonna have to shift other projects potentially?
Well, right now we have $15,000 in our site improvement line item for pavement management that we could take and not do crack sealing on other trails. We had one other project come in at 12 grand less, so there's 27.
So you're getting close.
So I'm getting close, and then we just opened the RFPs for the Great River Trail planning, which is a professional services line item. So I'm getting Lee all concerned because these are 3 different lines that are gonna offset one. So at the bottom, at the end of the day, it will be in the black, but not in the red. Then that, from what I see, depending on where we recommend, we're gonna be a little under on that too. So I think I'm there.
I do want to say that I caution this because I don't like blending non-CIP funds with CIP funds to shore up ones because it sets a dangerous precedence that,
What we would recommend, once we got this all figured out, we'd recommend to the finance team that we do a line item adjustment from our operating budget to the CIP account with the balance it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Mark, I see with the bids versus the alternates, that changes who the low bidder is.
Yeah, that does that too.
That does a factor in there.
Yep.
I mean, so it's kind of like, and the fact that the 6-inch concrete walk and the low bid on the base bid is extremely high on the other one. So I'm wondering if there was a clarification. What this is 840 square feet. If there's a clarification, because that number seems, more than double one of the bids right there.
My assumption on that, why the low bid on the alternate is, and they own their own concrete plant.
So they want the
Their
job.
product they're driving is cheaper than purchasing from another company and having.
So in your estimation, the alternate bids are, you want to go forward with that because they bring the total value to it? Because I can see with the full depth reclamation, that's major. You're basically starting over with that trail and
Yep.
making it correct. But the alternate bids, you feel that strongly that these are important enough to this project that they couldn't be held off?
Well, that's your ADA, Virgil left. There's
Oh, yeah, there's a lawyer in a room, yes.
There's one of them too. We have that ADA policy adopted 2 years ago that talks about when you hit a traveled road, you put the truncated domes in. That includes the concrete and truncated domes. And these are the 5 areas within that park that hit the access road.
Fair enough. That's a good explanation of why.
I will say, as far as using the, maintenance funds, I can kind of agree to that, the professional services funds.
Okay.
I have a trouble with that because that's gonna set a precedence for other departments to use that as their
Well, we got-
catch-all for unanticipated expenses.
I don't want to do that then.
So,
So we got $133,000 in the CIP this year for trail work at Stanley Eddy. I've signed both our contracts. Professional trail builders have to build those types of trails. You don't bid them out on linear foot. You build them out. Bid them out, work days per cruise, size of cruise and equipment. And then you have performance measurements that go with that. So we could be saving some money there too. If they get done a day early, we save our $3,000 that we're looking at on this here.
if you can tweak your number, Commissioner Burrell, I'll give him an opportunity.
Yeah, no, I just said,
long run, I'll get there.
what would be wrong with accepting the low bid on the blacktop and just putting the cement work out for bid? It's a small job. You'd probably get more contractors than these 4. I bet you would even get a better price than the 6,000.
There's nothing wrong with doing that.
That's what I would recommend.
The only problem I have with that is that then you've got double the amount of time confusion going on there. Where if they got one company going in, doing it all at one time, you're gonna have less confusion there.
I just think
for
it's
people that use it.
apples and oranges. I mean, one is blacktop, one is concrete, and these, other than mid-Minnesota, but the mid-Minnesota will still hire a firm to do the work, separate them themselves. They don't actually lay cement, they supply it, right? They would have a contractor do it anyway.
And they're probably making money on that contract, so you probably went direct to them.
I just think you'd get better, you're gonna get better prices, that's a small job that you get more than these 4 contractors to bid that. I mean, how much, 840 square feet and another 96? That's
Well,
not,
no, the 96 is the steel plates, the truncated
Yeah, that's for the
domes.
domes. But,
Yeah.
I mean, you probably could save a couple $1,000s, but I don't think you're gonna, I mean, obviously, I don't think it can get less than than $5,000 to do it,
I'm more than happy to do it.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd be, on the blacktop right off the bat, you'd be saving, what, 4,000 right there?
Yeah.
4,000 there.
4,000
You could
there, and if you
almost-
save another $1,500,
Well,
then,
I'm saying you could almost, I'm thinking you could almost get the cement work done for that 4,000 or 5,000.
yeah, that's what I figured, yeah, another, yep, couple $1,000.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion, we accept well, then it would change your recommendation, but
Well, that's fine. You make the
Yeah.
motion to accept Omen
to
Brothers.
accept
as the
Omen Brothers'
with
low
the base
bid on the
and the
blacktop
alternate bid to
and
be
put the cement,
determined through
and put the
different
cement
bidding
out
process.
for rebid. I'll make that a motion.
I'll second that, just for the discussion factor here.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Burrell, a second by Commissioner Potter, and I guess open for discussion?
Mr. Chair, and Commissioner Burrell does hit some nail on the head. I mean, because when you see that concrete 840 square feet, that much difference in price, it kind of makes you go, okay, what'd they miss? Because there's no way, I'll just pick on Omen Brothers, no way they're gonna bid that kind of number if they know that's gonna goof them up on the whole job part, because they do blacktop. They got their own concrete, but it still costs money, and still got labor in this. And it's not a big project, 840 square foot, and I do understand Mark's saying that the coordination effort to get a different contractor in for this part might be a little bit of a challenge, but I don't think it's a challenge you can overcome for the amount of money that's sitting there. I know the simplest is just do the alternates right off the get-go. The truncated domes, they're all right in line with that, so I don't think you're gonna save much money on having somebody else with those part of it. The concrete walk is, I agree that, when you, 840 square foot, that's a pretty nice chunk of change for that small a job. But with that, it's just going with the low bid and redo those alternates, try to get some more local contractors in there.
So, any other further discussion? I think it's a good way to move forward, come back, see what you come up with. I mean, it might shore up some of your funds and be, if you can save yourself another $6,000-7,000 there, and you might be able to make it work without having to be over budget or get really close.
You're
I'll
not
come
gonna
back
save
to
that
you if
much.
it's over
No, but
the
with some of those other
alternate
options.
price that's on there for mid-Minnesota. Otherwise, I'll move forward. Does that work for you, Commissioner Burrell? If it's below the alternate price that's listed on mid-Minnesota, I'll just move forward. If it's above that, then I'll come back and let you know.
You mean other bids on the?
Yeah, the new bids for the alternates.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Yep. So, at this point.
If it's above that, then I'm gonna let you know.
And you're going to, as
So
far
you're
as the
gonna-
funding,
So we would be accepting Omen Brothers kind of on a tentative basis,
Oh, you'd be awarding
subject to what we can get,
It'd be awarding Omen Brothers, period,
okay,
on the base bid.
okay, on the base, okay.
I want to clarify, because at this point, I don't want to be transferring any professional funds to pay this
Understand.
one. Yep, so,
Either my site improvement line or CIP.
okay, sounds good. All right, you have a,
Where'd you land on this?
No, I think, I just think it's gonna do nothing but the potential to save money. That's what I'm seeing. I don't think it's gonna, I mean, right off the bat, you save 4,000 on the blacktop that can go toward the concrete, and I think you're gonna get bids in that 6,000.
I don't think it couldn't cost us any more.
No.
It could, I mean, we already got the
Could save.
$4,000 savings. I can't imagine somebody's gonna bid, can't come up for less
What-
or more than the 60.
Mr.
yeah.
Chair, if I could ask, if I could make a couple phone calls today to some concrete guys that have done concrete work for us the last couple of years and just get an idea. And if they tell me that, oh, that's not a bad price, how would you like me to proceed? Because it'd be nice to, if we're getting a good price from mid-Minnesota on it, it'd be nice to say, yeah, let's go there. I could bring it back next week if you want me to.
I'm okay with that too. then we know what we're doing.
Because I'd sure hate to send it, award the bid to Omens, send out the concrete bid, find out the concrete bid comes in at $4,000 more, and now we're stuck without that better bid.
Right.
Yep.
So you want to just, maybe I'll just
Maybe
withdraw
just-
my motion for now and
Can't
just,
table it for a week because we're not back.
Table till next week for decisions on.
We're not, we have workshop next week, so we won't be coming back to the 19th,
Well,
but
that's,
These bids could be good for 2 weeks?
I would hope so.
Yeah, I don't know what the,
That won't cause a problem, well,
Or I guess you could,
you gotta wait for the snow to melt anyway, which won't be until August. Okay, maybe July.
let's go with September.
Mr. Chair, Mike, if it's all right with you, I'm going to withdraw my motion.
and the new one is to.
Okay, and then make a.
Lay this
make a-
over for
Make a new
inclusion
motion
in
just
2
to
weeks?
table this for, to delay it for 2 weeks. yeah.
we'll make sure we'll put you at the end of that meeting
Perfect.
on the 19th, because it'll be a really long meeting. No, just kidding.
Do we need a vote on that even to bring it back 2 weeks or?
Probably be
Just-
Yeah,
best.
just best to vote on.
Otherwise, I say just bring it
Leave it
back.
up.
Put it up back.
I'll make a motion to lay it over for 2 weeks.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Dahlheim, a second by Commissioner Burrell. Any discussion? Yeah, I think we had a good discussion on the whole item as a whole, so.
Save some money.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to items for consideration. We have the Owners Committee minutes. Commissioner Potter.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Owners Committee for the Justice Center met on February 20th. There was a lot of people present except for Commissioners Burrell and Potter. We were both at other commitments at that point in time. But there was really nothing earth-shattering here. They're talking about what's coming up in the next few weeks. The air handler units coming in, their roof install has been delayed because of snow and temperatures. They're about 4 weeks behind on the construction just because of the weather and the snow. But usually when you get it enclosed and get people going, you can make that 4 weeks up pretty good. The level one, mostly all framed and plumbed, are about 90%. Electrical's about 50%. The contingency balance is currently at 1.799 million. And the, so far to date has let out 259,225.41 in change orders. And overall, like I say, it's behind because of the snow and extreme temperatures, which is to be expected here. And the other one is the lift dock. The bids were coming in. That was another bid pack part that came in. And Will Check City reviewed the bids and approves moving forward the pending approval of the recommendation with the amount, low bid of $23,720. And the Anthony Enright stated that BKV will be writing a letter to address the PR 16 plumbing and vent changes that they're in disagreement with Weeder, and this is the beauty of having the people that have been really fighting on Wright County's behalf to make sure that these prices are where they belong, and if we got credits coming, we should get them. And there's also IT management pricing, wire management pricing should be complete and approved very shortly. That's coming up probably by the next meeting. So the only recommendation coming out of this meeting was approve the loading dock lift lower bid, low bid at $23,720. The next meeting will be on March 20th. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and the recommendations.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Potter, a second by Commissioner Dahlheim. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes from February 20th are approved. Commissioner Dahlheim, the Committee of the Whole, February 25th.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee of the Whole met on the 25th. All commissioners were present, including Administrator Kelly, along with some department heads and people from BKV. Group Contiguity, Adelph and Peterson, and a resident from Marysville Township. There's two discussion items. One was the design development for a new government center, and the second item was the Sheriff's Office Range Project. All this information is on the county website, including all the drawings and everything. The committee's seen PowerPoint presentations for the government center civil drawings, government center landscape presentation, technical training facility drawings, government center floor plans and government center interior design presentation. We also talked about attending some boardroom tours with BKV at Anoka County, the city of Fridley, and Tierney Brothers to look at options for the boardroom so that it's easier for residents to see different things and hear better and look at something that's more state-of-the-art compared to what we have here. There was a number of discussions regarding expansion, looking at different levels, and possible Veterans Memorial, which we'd like to have an advisory group if this project proceeds forward. Regarding the Sheriff's Office project, or Sheriff's Office Range project, they again showed us a facility drawings on that. The parking, it's just a very utilitarian building. The function, and again, it's to work with an FBI. They're providing us a little over $2 million for the project. And it will allow local police departments to also utilize too. So this is not just something for the county and the FBI. This will also be utilized for local police departments to use too. This will prevent us from having to send our deputies off to St. Cloud for training and from having to rent indoor facilities for shooting now. There's a lot of people that don't do anything in the wintertime without having a facility to work with inside for shooting. So this would give our existing deputies who don't do anything in the wintertime an opportunity to practice. So with that, there's again a lot of information on this on the county website. And I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and the drawings.
All right, we have a motion. We have a motion by Commissioner Dahlhead and a second by Commissioner Burrell. Any further discussions?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Bonner?
Yeah, the informational meeting, but I did have a couple people that contacted me on the county FBI shooting range, and there was some misinformation out there that it was going to be over $7 million, and what are you doing, and what's going on here. And when I explained to these people that it also was a backup data center, emergency operations center, and a backup 911, along with the training facility, with the training parts with that, they became a little bit more at ease. So I'm not sure who's putting out the bad information, but a couple of people got back to me, and I'm going, okay, where'd you get this? First off, they said $7 million. That wasn't the number. And the other thing, it was just for that. They didn't understand, and they weren't told by whoever was spreading that, you know, there's more to it than meets the eye on this. This isn't just a shooting range. This is a lot more than that.
And also that the FBI has put, what, $2.5 million?
2.2.
2.2 million towards the project.
Yeah, and the other part of the misinformation that the FBI would have this thing for like 300 days of the year, and we just, you know, we get to caretake it and they get nothing to it. So I just want to kind of clear up some of this misunderstanding. Hopefully people will take enough time to go on the website to look at the background and everything on this, and then call us if you have information, but base it on some facts, not what somebody told you somewhere, and I'm not sure where it came from. But it's you know, we're trying to make sure that we get these things so people understand why we're doing this and where the numbers are coming from and what is all involved in that project. Because it's trying to make sure that people get good information, what's out there, what's going on here.
That's a good point, that it is more than just a firing range, an indoor shooting. There's a lot of training going on.
And everything else, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
EOC and backup 911 and backup data center.
mean, all
Yeah,
those
there is a lot more to it.
But the good thing is that I will say in about 3 weeks, we should have some good numbers as to what the total cost of it's going to be here once they got through all their kind of vetting process right now and trying to figure out what the cost of the data center will be and the dispatch and the utilities and such for the project. So Lee, we're expecting sometime before the end of the month or the first week in April to come back with those numbers, correct?
Yeah, I think we'll have some updates here towards the latter part of March even.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, IT's been working and has a couple meetings with them, working on some of the technical stuff, so.
And you're following up on trying to find out what it costs for us to run the fiber piece, so at least give us a little bit more of a robust number on that piece, so.
Yep.
All right. So we have a motion and we have a second. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Commissioner Burrell, February 26th, Committee of the Whole.
Mr. Chair, the Committee of the Whole met out at the Human Services Building north of 55. All commissioners are present, Lee Kelly and the Human Services staff, along with Director Jamie Goodham Schwartz and Alan Wilczek from the facilities manager was there. Basically, what we talked about was it was an informational meeting, by the way, and we talked about where we're going with facilities, kind of the similar discussion we've been having in other areas, but thought it would be nice because it does have a big impact on the human services staff, so they had them out and got their input. Commissioner Vetch, Chair, showed a power presentation, went through the different options that we're considering right now. Commissioner Hewsome talked about the disadvantages of HHS only, spread out right now, whereas with a new building, they would all be on one central location. Chair Vetch also mentioned that the nuclear power plant could possibly close up in 2030, and that the proposed debt structuring is set up to coordinate with that, so it would not make a major impact if we did go ahead with the new building, a new facility. I had mentioned that I'd prefer to put it off, the new building, and just do minimal things to get by for 5 or 10 years. Commissioner DeLayden said his concern are the large expenditures that we have coming besides the building with the class and classification study, the ERP system, and other things. So he's kind of looking at it from a budget thing, and Chair Vetch thought that the way that things are structured right now, that it would be a doable thing yet. So anyway, we basically just talked about the different options, listened to their input. They seem to want a new building pretty bad from what I heard. Anyway, so that was just informational, but it was good to get their input and for them to hear from us directly too. So
It was a good discussion.
with that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second, okay.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Burrell, a second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. February 26 minutes are approved. Authorize county board attendance to the March 15th tour of facilities, our boardrooms.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Dahlheiden, second by Commissioner Potter. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item is scheduled. I think everybody got an Outlook invite
Yeah.
for those of you.
Should
so.
have, just kind of logistically, I don't know if folks all want to travel together or have a caravan or what, but we'll have to discuss
I
that.
didn't take the van, that's a long.
Yeah, I
way
was
from
gonna
here.
ask, I figured we'd reserve the large van and that
Well,
could take most of the folks.
It's a long way away from me, maybe not for Potter or Delighten, I'm not sure.
Leo pack sandwiches for everybody.
I'll bring 12 for Charlie and to the rest of you.
No mayo on mine.
Fair enough.
We could,
Mayo on his
No,
peanut
oh,
butter and
actually,
jelly sandwich.
you'll have to have fish, Charlie.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's
It's
right.
Friday, yeah.
Fish sandwiches, we'll stop at McDonald's, they have a good deal. Leah, and we could arrange something maybe to stop, in a St. Michael or somewhere into, pick up, you guys, so you don't have to drive down to Buffalo and then back up.
Yep.
Whatever.
All right, so,
We'll get the van and go from there.
sounds good.
Communicate with you individually.
Now we need to schedule what do we vote on that? So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Schedule a closed session.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I wanted to get something on the calendar for the latter part of March or maybe early April to get some updates on the classification and compensation study prior to negotiations later in the year. So I have a couple different dates, depending on folks' availability. The consultant was available the 25th, the afternoon of the 26th, 28th, or April 1st. A couple different options.
Why don't we do the afternoon of the 26th?
That works good for me.
On the 20, you're talking Tuesday?
Tuesday, April
Want to
26th.
go 1:30 or 1 o'clock?
April 26th or March 26th?
March
That'd be
26th.
March
March.
26th.
Yeah, I didn't think it was April.
March 26th, and you guys want to say 1 o'clock?
1 or 1:30?
I would say 1:30. I have a conflict at 1, but
Okay.
March 26th at 1:30, perfect. All right, is that a motion by you, Commissioner Burrow?
Yes.
We got a motion by Commissioner Burrow?
Second.
Yes.
Second by Commissioner Dahlheim. Any further discussion?
Just make sure we check with Commissioner Hewsome to make sure that that'll work out. I believe it will, but he's probably listening right now anyway.
Well, hopefully we didn't put her to sleep.
Well, you're supposed to start singing. All right. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, advisory committee, or advisory updates. Who wants to start?
I'll start it.
All right.
I have no advisory committees, but I'll tell you, if you want a good exercise for the heart, you climb up Kennesaw Mountain in Georgia. It'll get your heart pumping. That's all I have.
I actually took care of, we had Fair Board last night. I think I took care of that with Virgil and Mark, the things that I wanted to bring up. Yes, and then the only thing that I wanted to mention, I think about 3:30 till 7 this Friday is the Waverly Lions Fish Fry. It's always a really good time and well-attended, so if anybody wants to have some really good fish, come down, it's all you can eat.
And this one time in the year that Commissioner Burrow will be waiting on you.
Yeah, I'll be working. Well, I'll be taking their money at the door, so.
Okay.
It's not a whole lot different.
So I'll kind of go pick some of the bigger highlights of last week. So Highway 25 Coalition met last week on Thursday. After, I'm going to say going on 7 months of debate, we finally are going to close out the SRF study. We are not moving any further beyond that at this time. The City of Monticello passed a resolution requesting a support from the Highway 25 Coalition to enter into an economic impact study. I support that thought because if we're going to go into the NEPA process, we really want to have both sides buying into it because that's going to give us the best success in the long run. So if more information is what it's going to take to get the total buy-in, that's the road I support. So right now, the decision from the Highway 25 Coalition was to scope what that would be and come back in the end of March with that information, so.
And Mr. Chair, I was part of that for a while. I do agree with that because when it formed, the whole idea was to make sure there was no negative impact on either side of the river. And then it kind of morphed into something a little bit better in the NEPA process. And before you need to have all this information before you go if you want to have a chance to get an appropriation for somebody to help move this forward.
Absolutely. So the other side of it is Thursday last week, the Water Task Force gathered. We had the results from the Department of Agriculture and their mailings on well treatments. Good chunks of the county fared quite well. Clearwater Township area had a little bit higher level than the other townships in terms of a nitrate level. So the other ones are right around like 1.8 to 2.1, which are all within the range. In Clearwater Township, which is still in the safe range, but they're at about a 4.6. So they're a little bit on that higher scale, quite a bit higher than the other townships. So.
That's a lot sandier up in that area.
It is a lot sandier up there,
Drip
yep.
sand, yeah.
Yep. So, but still a reason nonetheless to want to watch closely, see if it changes over time.
Yeah, especially for people that have newborn children.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, then We've had a lot of discussions from our Trailblazers piece here, trying to work out some expansion areas between Rogers and Elk River and trying to figure out what that would look like. So that's going to be some more ongoing conversations.
And Mr. Chair, just for your information on as far as Trailblazer Transit, the new buses that are coming in, I did have a talk with Administrator Kelly on that, being that they're $90,000 buses, we need to have them inside. And so it's looking out, because the Public Works building does have enough room, so, and there's some things that they have, the parks and surveyors have in there, they really don't need to be in that building. But those buses, because we have that much money in those things, we need to make sure they're inside and secure that, so they're between yourself and.
Yeah, and that's something that a conversation.
Administrator Kelly, to figure out how to make that thing work.
And that's some conversation that we might be able to get by through this winter, but looking into next fall will be a conversation. Unless the snow carries on extremely long here, let's hope it's not into late April, May, but.
Well, correct, and Mr. Mattice and Mr. Job have both been alerted that this is probably going to be coming up, so it's not going to be a big surprise, but we need to make sure we protect that asset.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like with the AV vehicles, have them inside where the people that come to get it, they're ready to go.
Yep. Well, and it takes a long time to defrost on those vehicles,
Correct.
and they got to be really defrosted just for the safety reasons of what they're transporting, so.
You know, regarding the buses and transit, I have a concern about expanding when we can't take care of our current residents with getting them rides, because every time they call that they're booked out already or something. So I have a real major problem with expanding into other counties when we can't take care of our current residents.
And that's a fair point of view on it, and I agree as well. Basically, we wouldn't even be doing these rides other than the fact that they are basically like 5310 rides. They're the Health and Human Services rides, the workforce rides. So basically, we're not picking up residents in those areas. It's basically bookend. So basically, beginning of the day, end of the day routes that are basically full buses in, full buses out. So
A lot of discussion to come up.
a lot of discussion that has to happen with that.
Let's not forget the Met Council's over there, and they're not overly thrilled, so.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not taking anybody back at this time, and it's mostly people from Wright County wanting to go there to work and people coming back. So it's mostly facilitating the people that live in the St. Michael and Monticello area that are looking, Otsego area, that are looking to get to work, so, and back.
Just so long as we don't forget about
No, not.
our own residents. And like I said, it's one of the biggest complaints that we have is that people can't get rides now.
Well, and that's where we're trying to give them the rides that they want. This isn't for rides for people in Hennepin County. This is for people for rides in Wright County that want to get to work in Hennepin County, so that's.
Yeah, and I concur with Commissioner Delight,
But
some
I'd
of this
like-
is the cart before the horse thing. We want to take care of Wright County first, granted, MnDOT wants you to expand, and the whole thing is, there is a point in time where we can, but we can't do it now, maybe in a year, 2, 3, 5, whatever that number is, let's take care of the residents here now.
Yep.
And that, because the turn down on the rides is concerning, because we went from not a lot of transit to people all of a sudden thinking it's the metro now, and it's not. And we're a long ways away from being that kind of system.
And that's where I should want to make sure you understand too, when I say expand, it means people from Wright County can go to these areas. We can't move their people. Our people can go to those areas. So we've had a lot of people that in basically Otsego and St. Michael that want to get to Rogers and want to get to Elk River. So we need to expand our area, and we need to let MnDOT know that we will be transporting our people into those areas, and we'll be taking our people back from those areas to here. It's not so much that we're servicing you. If you're a Elk River resident, you call up Trailblazer and you want to get picked up, we can't pick you up. Unless it originates from Wright County and they go over there, we can pick them back up, but their ride had to originate in Wright County, so.
So Commissioner Delight, we're very mindful of that with taking care of Wright County
We
residents.
need to be working with
Takes
TriCap.
people over there to shop and spend their money and then come back home,
Well, that's not,
But it's you take people where they want to go. If if their job, most of these are all work-related rides. So if you can get employment in Rogers, we'll get them where they need to go. I get Charlie wants to hold them hostage here in Wright County. Get out.
I just get a car and drive.
Well, that's not easy for some people though either.
I know.
Yeah.
I know that for a fact.
But I appreciate your concern on that, Commissioner Dahlin. But I'm done. Anything else you have?
Couple things. On Friday, we met at Bertram Lake.
Oh, that's right.
No big projects planned for out there this summer at all, other than the city will be, they approved the bids for leveling and getting irrigation set up for 3 fields?
I believe it's 3 fields, yeah.
And one, was it the ball field too?
I don't think there was a,
But anyway, they'll be leveling off a very large area to get ready for the ball fields. But they are going to be planning and irrigating, I believe, 3 fields for multi-purpose fields, lacrosse, soccer, that sort of stuff.
Who are they having do the leveling?
New Look Contracting out of Rogers, I believe it
Did
was.
they check into using the Army?
yeah, they did. But they didn't get awarded the bid. They applied
Because
for
I
it.
said, I know Waverly did that and Montrose got them to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah, and they actually have.
Those guys are just super. They came in and they this camp out and
Yeah, well, they have a National Guard
Yeah.
unit right there in Monticello, but
Well, they
yeah,
couldn't
they
do it.
just weren't unable to do that.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, little discussion regarding the road out there and timing and that sort of stuff, and how that's all going to work out. Other than that, we planted seeds of trees in a couple of different spots out there 2 years ago, 2017, and they're already up just a little bit, although can't find them now with the snow.
Until the mower comes by.
No, they're not mowing that area, but anyway, they are growing very well, so that'll be interesting. And again, if you remember, they did that out at Knight Park, and how well that turned out, really well. So, and then tonight, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the City of Otsego Prairie Building, discussion will be occurring regarding the development of County Road 39 with the 3rd lane being put in there this summer. That was some federal money, I believe, we got for that to improve the safety of that heavily traveled road. So, anybody interested in that? Again, at the Otsego Prairie Center from 4 to 6, open house tonight.
Or as us around there refer to it as City Hall number 2.
City Hall number 2.
The old one looks like a schoolhouse, the second one's that one, and the third one.
Yeah.
That's where they hold their city hall, where they hold their council meetings and stuff.
Yeah. I see they have a good sign out there that tells people, though. I like the campus out there and how they have it. The signage is done well.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah, just a couple logistical things. I guess next week, of course, is our workshop. I know we had thought to have a second item on talking about the Safe Families or Family First program, but talking with HHS, I know they have some meetings lined up later in the month with Commissioner Houston potentially out. I'm just going to advocate that we maybe hold that off to a future meeting if that's okay. Just better use of everybody's time. So we'll bring that one back in a little bit in the future. Alan's been working on some proposals. I think if you remember, I brought forward a quote for design of furniture for the Justice Center, so we've been out getting some bids. We'll have those ready hopefully for our next building meeting, if we can talk about that at the end. Another discussion related to buildings. We decided to go forward with the FBI and the administrative building. We'll have to think about construction managers. If that's something you want to bid out, we'd have to get that process going pretty soon as well. A few other things, it's been very busy with follow-up with the ERP, vetting and trying to get true cost of ownership on those vendors. We gave them 2 days to basically show us how they could do almost 500 items, so there's a little bit of follow-up on things that we want to see again to make sure we got. So working through that. Had a good meeting last week. Was invited to join the Wright County City Administrators at a meeting. Real informal, but good discussion to talk about what's going on with county and cities. A lot of discussion about, with all the snow, what flooding may occur. So, good to meet with that group.
Concern for a lot of people
It
throughout the
is,
state
it
this year.
is, so.
Not only that, but then it's downstream, those in Iowa.
Great.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting spring. Pray for a slow melt.
Yes.
So did they twist your arm as being the new guy and have to pick up the tab for the first one?
I avoided that, thankfully.
Okay. So.
Good discussion.
All right.
I was going to meet with those guys.
Cool.
We have a meeting at 10:30.
Today, yes, so I guess we will call it today. We'll adjourn here at 10:07. Thank you.